Hi, in this video we're going to answer the question, how does having a positive mindset help overcome challenges? We're going to look at, again, a little broader spectrum on the psychology behind a positive mindset and understanding the psychology and understanding how that all operates is going to help you begin to realize the importance and necessity of developing that positive mindset in your life. In this video, we'll begin by looking at the psychological mechanisms for a positive mindset. We're going to look at how it boosts creativity and problem solving. We're going to look at how it will develop resilience in your life. We're going to look at some strategies and tips, again, for developing that. We're going to look at a real life story on the benefits of having a positive mindset. We're going to begin by looking at the psychological mechanisms behind having a positive mindset. We're going to look at how that will improve your creative thinking and problem solving. We're going to look at the building of resilience. We're going to look at the stress management benefits. We're going to look at some tips and kind of strategies for developing it and a real life success story. We're going to look at the psychological mechanisms behind a positive mindset. And the first one is this idea of optimism and expectancy theory. This theory was developed in the 1960s. And essentially what this amounts to is that the belief that your effort, the expectations around putting forth effort is going to get you the outcome that you desired. So that belief is this expectancy. The second part is this idea of instrumentality, and that is the belief that certain level of performance is going to lead to a desired outcome, right? So that's a performance-based idea. The third one is valiance, and that's basically the value that each individual places on that desired outcome. So if you really desire a particular outcome, that's going to be higher than if it'd be nice to do that, right? That's going to be lower. So this optimism expectancy theory multiplies those three components together to get a number. The second mechanism I'm going to really briefly mention is this idea of self-fulfilling prophecy, or similarly, it's the law of attraction, which basically says what you dwell on, what you think about is attracted to you. It becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. So when I think about all the good outcomes that I may have, and I dwell on that, and when I dwell on a positive comes my way. Right? If I'm thinking negative thoughts, if I'm thinking about all the bad things that could happen, if I'm thinking about all that could go wrong, things will go wrong. I attract that negativity. It becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. And the third mechanism is this idea of neuroplasticity, which is really, again, about how the brain is constantly growing and changing. It's making new neurological connections all the time, right? It is growing through experience. And the more experiences we have, the more networks you're firing off, and the more you repeat experience, the more that those neural pathways are connected and strengthened. And that's where habits really can come into play as well. So let's think of how this kind of plays out in problem solving and creativity. So when you're thinking positive and you're trying to find solutions and you believe that there is a solution, your brain, you're wiring that brain, you're pulling in other possibilities as you begin to ask different and better questions like, how can I solve this? What else could we do? What am I missing? Why are we not getting this? When you ask those questions, your brain begins to try to find the answers. It will begin to see outside that box that you are in. You're also willing to look for other sources outside of you, right? So you bring in other people, you think other people, you believe other people can help. All that expands that pool of possible resources, that pool of possible answers that improves your ability to solve problems. So that third one is kind of tied into the second law. The third mechanism is the broaden and build theory, which basically, as you pull in these other resources, these other ideas, you are building more neural pathways and building opportunities and possibilities of solving the problem in different ways, right? So you broaden your horizons, and then you can build from those more resources and more ideas that you gather. So that is kind of built off that second one. They're very similar. So again, with all of those things working together, that innately or naturally will build resilience. Builds resilience because you're thinking about possible ways out of your current challenges, your current circumstances, and you believe that that's possible. And believing that's possible drives you forward. It's that movement, it's that taking action in the face of undesired outcomes that is the hallmark of the resiliency, right? So the more you are looking for possible solutions to your current circumstances, looking for ways out of your current circumstances, that is resiliency. That resiliency is also what's behind grit or determination, persistence. When we talk about people who have resilience, we also talk about that idea of grit, right? People who just, there's no quit in them, right? The adage of quitters never win and winners never quit, that sort of determination, resiliency, and grit, they just go hand in hand. The last thing I want to talk about is it's a recurring theme in all the videos I do as I answer all these questions, because it's a real crucial aspect of positive mindset, a growth mindset, or the importance of your mindset, and that's the impact on stress management, stress and health, right? We all experience stress. What we don't want to have is recurring stress on a ongoing, regular, daily basis, right? That level, that kind of stress can be extremely harmful. Having a positive mindset helps get us out of the emotion of stress. And when we begin to get out of the emotion, we start thinking about what's causing it, what can I do about it, trying to solve it. Then we are taking the step direction to manage it, and that changes our biochemistry, and it changes our whole dynamics going on inside our mind-body system. So thinking positively is going to help you remove the emotion of the stress, enhancing our job performance, our well-being, emotional, spiritual, and physically, by getting us unstuck from the emotion and begin to thinking about the solution to whatever is creating that stress to begin with. Let's take a look at the case of Nelson Mandela. Nelson Mandela was an activist trying to overthrow apartheid in his native South Africa. He was thrown in prison. He was in prison for 27 years. At times he's put into solitary confinement. This certainly could have easily broken and a person, deterred them from pursuing and persisting and facing down his enemies, the whole system of apartheid. But no, Nelson Mandela did things like took a correspondence course to get his law degree, worked with other prisoners and activists outside to continue pushing for his dream of having this system of discrimination and racism overthrown. For 27 years he sat in prison. He was eventually released, and his work kept moving forward. In fact, he eventually became president of South Africa. And if that doesn't show the incredible power of a positive mindset, nothing really does. I invite you to check out our channel on our other videos. You might be interested in another one specifically. How do you start the day with a positive mindset?